Hey guys, Dico here, welcome back. Today I will be showing you how to build this very fast 4x4 door. Just quickly show you the opening and closing animation, which is not really going to be visible when I'm recording. It seems to have some trouble recording that, but yeah, on the showcase video I've got some really insane amounts of likes and positive comments, which really cheered me up. Thank you for that, that was amazing. Hence we're doing the tutorial now, because a lot of you stated that you do want a tutorial on this door, even though it's pretty big, you might say. But yeah, on the end of the video we will of course be doing an explanation, and right now we will be doing the tutorial, so let's just jump straight into it. Alright, so I have gathered all the resources that you need to build this door. They're all in this chest. Now I do have to note that you need at least 4 obsidian for it to work. However, I do suggest using 18 just to be safe on the side that can break if you spam the door. And this can also be replaced with furnaces, and that would then be on top of the 2 furnaces you need here, together with these comparators here. But all the rest you can see right here, so just pause the video and take a screenshot or whatever and just gather all the resources you need. This is the minimal amount of building blocks that you're going to need to do the redstone. This is exclusively the building blocks for the redstone, so no aesthetical blocks, and I would go with 6 stacks in total, just so you can like place blocks where you can stand for convenience. And in addition to all of this, you do need to light up everything, so no creepers, no mobs spawn in there. You're gonna have to dig down 4 blocks from your floor if you've already figured out where you want your door to go. So yeah, I think it's just time to start off placing all the pistons and the obsidian around them. So as I've mentioned before, this goes down 4 blocks. You have to dig down 4 blocks. This is then what your floor is, but there will be parts of this floor moving, or as a redstone block or something like that, so keep that in mind. And yeah, it's time to start placing these pistons, so I'll rip out the floor, and on the bottom you'll just have 4 sticky pistons facing up, then a piston next to here, so this part is still a regular piston setup, and then over here we're gonna have 6 sticky pistons facing sideways on top of each other, and do the same here of course, and then just place your pistons at the top as well. Oh, just like that, and these 4 here, and then this is the part that I don't really like, and this is the part where you have to decide what part of the base is inside, which should be visible, but I would put the visible pistons on the inside, which is actually going to be right here. So this should be inside your base. It doesn't have to be, but I prefer it. I would prefer it inside my base, so the outside is clean and nice and seamless. So that is the piston setup. Now for the obsidian, we're gonna place 4 below these pistons, 4 on top. These 8 are not necessary, but I suggest you have them. Then these are the necessary ones right there, 1 right there, 1 right there. This is 1 block away from the piston because there will be a powered rail in between, or an activator rail, whatever you want. So it has to update the piston, and it's going to be in between because it's still a pushable block, so if there's a block in between you still won't be able to push this piston. Alright, so let's start with the redstone. Alright, so for the rest of this tutorial I will only be building 1 slice, or 1 side of the door. The other side is an exact copy of this side mirrored, so let's just get started with the input circuit right here. Start off with a redstone line below the obsidian or furnaces you just placed. So this is 2 blocks below these bottom sticky pistons, and then carry out 2 more blocks, a block in front of that, then a sticky piston with a redstone block on its face. Then on the side with the sticky pistons showing, you should go out 3 redstone just like that, and then 3 blocks up like so. Place a block in front of that, and then a sticky piston on top, a redstone block, and then in front of a redstone block place some redstone dust, go in towards the middle, place the block, a slab over here, then over into another block, and then another slab. I know this is a weird pattern, but you have to follow it exactly like this. otherwise it's not going to work. Now when you hit this point, you're going to place a block there, go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, fill with redstone dust, then place a block here, 3 blocks here, and then on the very end we're going to have redstone dust there, facing into a sticky piston with a block in front. Then below the block, which is now extended, you place a redstone block, a slab next to it, and then go up like this, over and then down right here, and then over 3 more redstone, then down here and over right here. I know this is kind of weird, it's hard to memorize as well, I can just tell you, but that's how the input circuit goes on either side, so just build that right now. So now we're going to start with the first set of pulses. We're going to come to this redstone line, which is lowly powered, and this it has this 6x or 3x2 redstone platform here. On the end, place a normal piston facing downwards, another normal piston, then a sticky piston, a normal piston, a sticky piston, 2 normal pistons, a sticky piston, a normal piston, 2 sticky pistons, 2 normal pistons, and a sticky piston, and all of these pistons should be bud powered except for these 2 right here. Then for the blocks, a redstone block there, a normal block there, a redstone block there, a normal block there, and 2 normal blocks, and then power this block here with a torch and a repeater, just like that. Alright, next up for redstone wire number 1, we're going to go in between these first 2 sticky pistons we placed, put a redstone dust down, go down like that and back up, and then next to this redstone dust here, place a lever below this block. You could have a trap chest here, but the block is going to be there anyways, and then run down 2, and over 2 like that, into a block, and then next to this block here, place a powered rail. And then from this other block we placed earlier, a slab, and then 2 up and over into a 3 blocks like that. Then place this slab here, and I didn't remove the slab, but I'm having trouble memorizing this design because it's so different from having torches and repeaters all over the place. So I'm doing it very small bits by very small bits, as you can see. But let's go on to the next redstone wire, which will be a little bit longer and bigger than this one. So for the second redstone line or 0 tick pulse, I'm going to start from this redstone block, go down and back up. Now run into a slab and a block, and then another slab here with a block. Go up 1 more and over 2 like this. 1 next to that, and on either end of this redstone dust, you want to have a sticky piston and another sticky piston here. So once again, from this redstone dust, down, up, slab, block, and then up over 3 to something like this. It just has to look like this, make sure it does. And place a block right there. We'll deal with this piston here later. From here you want to go down and over, and then down once again. This will be a ceiling block, so make sure it looks good. And then place a lever next to it. Don't power it. Same goes for the lever we placed here earlier. Do not power that lever, and then make it go up into a slab, and then a redstone dust here, 2 slabs here, and then a block, and then another slab, just like that. Now, from the slab we placed earlier, go down 4, just like this, place redstone all across, over 3, and from the 3rd block in this row, you want to have a sticky piston with a redstone block down below. Then place a staircase like this with powered rails or activator rails, and then run this up like so into your floor block, which should also look kind of good. Alright, coming in for the 3rd pulse or redstone line, we're going to place some dust next to this redstone block on the corner of the redstone, layout or whatever, and then go over 3 blocks down like this, and then 3 blocks over, place redstone dust all across. I did that wrong, didn't I? Yes, I did. Need to go down 3 blocks, so 1, 2, 3, 1, 2. I did do it correct, actually. So we're gonna go 3 blocks over like that, and then from here, next to this obsidian, 2 redstone dust here, and then go over on top of the obsidian like that, and then 2 solid blocks there with redstone, a slab with redstone, and a block in a wall. All of these 3 blocks in the wall, or floor or ceiling, have to be solid, but they will be visible, so once again I suggest using quartz or some other nice block. And then coming in for the pistons on the other side for the next pulse, after 1.5 tick, we're gonna have a sticky piston there, then a normal piston, then a sticky piston, then 2 normal pistons, then a sticky piston, and then a normal piston here, then 1 facing in this direction, and then another sticky piston there, and then just place 4 blocks below all of these, and then just place a torch below this last one, just like that. Okay, so for this next redstone line, you'll start from this torch we placed earlier, and then go up into this redstone dust, down into this slab next to this piston, then place a block right there with a redstone dust on top, go down 3 blocks, over 1, and then down 1 more, and then over 4. Now make sure to block off this redstone dust, and place a sticky piston with a block in front right there, and then just run redstone dust across this entire line. Then on the end of the line, we want to go over into this piston, into this block. If you haven't placed obsidian or a furnace here, you want to place solid blocks right here, and then between these we want to go up with redstone dust, so that this will power all of the pistons. And the reason I'm showing both sides is because they're not exactly mirrored, they're just like the same, so it powers all the pistons. Otherwise, you would do something like this and go down here, but that's not what I mean. Now it wouldn't power the middle 2 pistons, and it's important that it does, so keep it like this, and make sure to block off the signal, just like that. Then we're going to go over here where we placed this block earlier, go up into a slab, then up right here, up 1 more and over into a slab, and then another block here. Run redstone dust all across like this, and then place a sticky piston below this block with a block on its face. Then place a block here with a repeater on it and a torch like right on this block, so that when the block is here, it's going to power the repeater. Now from this redstone dust, which has a piston below it, you want to go down over into a slab, and now you have to make sure to block off these 2 pieces of redstone dust, and I suggest you place these pieces of obsidian or furnaces right there to be a little bit more safe. This piston can still be pushed over though, so keep that in mind if it doesn't work. And then just leave this redstone dust for later. And then lastly, we want to go up here with 2 redstone dust and place the block of this T flip-flop out, so there's a space in between the piston and the block. Okay, so for the very last wire we're going to place, you have to have redstone dust in between these 2 sticky pistons. Make it go down 3 blocks just like this, and over 2, and then run it into this bottom piston here. And then over here we want to have a slab running on over a furnace like this, then go up, then block this off, go up 1 more, and make this here a slab like that. Then in the furnace you want to place any old item. It can be anything you want, but it is worth noting that in 1.8 you cannot place items in the bottom slot, or not items that don't fit there. Like coal does go in there, but I wouldn't suggest putting coal. Any old item, just put it in the top slot. So then you want to have a barrier coming out of the furnace, and then a sticky piston up here and a block down there, and that should be it done. I'll go ahead and mirror all of this on the other side, and then I'll double check if we've forgotten anything. Okay, so after mirroring, it should look something like this, what I have right here. Now get down below here, and on the side, on the opposite side where you're going to place your input, you could have it like right here, for example, or here. If you don't know yet, just pick a random side and knock out those 2 blocks and replace them with slabs 1 block lower, like that. Then place a sticky piston right there with a block in front of it, then run it over by 2, up like that, and back down again, like so. And once again, if you did not place this obsidian here, make it a solid block so that this redstone does power that piston, and then head to the top here, to the other side, and place 4 blocks across like that, with rails on top. The other side you may want to make activate rails, but I don't expect that you have to do that, because usually these are not required, but sometimes in some coordinates you do need them, because the signal length of microtics varies in coordinates. It's just some kind of weird update order thingy, and each update order force move kind of thing. It's really hard to explain this, but it makes a difference. So sometimes you might want to do that. And also the things at the bottom here, with this T flip-flop here and the two powered rails there, they might not be required either, but in some coordinates they will be, which is kind of strange. But I think it's about time that we give this a test. Okay, after fixing some stuff on the mirrored side, you may have noticed in the clip that I have forgotten this redstone line here, and also I forgot to place 1 redstone dust on this block, but that did fix it when I put those in. So now, as we know, this redstone line in the back there is the input, so you can just power it with a lever, and if you flick it, it closes and it opens. And I just had some lag spikes. I guess it has to do with void lag or something, but it's working, as you can see. Now it's important to note, or it might be useful for you to know, that if you want it to be a T flip-flop powered design, you can place redstone dust next to this piston, and then a block in front, and then a torch right there. And then if you do the same thing on the other side, make sure to do it on both sides. If only one of the sides powers, then the opening will be fine, but the closing will mess it up, so make sure that you always power both sides at the same time and stuff. But now if you test it, it will do something when we flick it, but when you flick it off, you see nothing's gonna happen, so that's always nice to know. You can make it in a T flip-flop easily. Another thing to note is this door will start opening or closing instantly when you press the button or lever, so I made sure of that. You can see I'm really having trouble recording this, but we'll get there, and in a second I'll show you some really nice input methods. Okay, so the way I would do it, I suggest using an iron or gold pressure plate. However, you can use a wooden pressure plate or stone pressure plate by moving this redstone down. So for gold and iron you would have a piston here with a redstone block, and this would be it. So if you step on this, it's going to power the piston. Step on that, it will do the same thing. However, when you have a stone or wooden pressure plates, it will power this entire line because it gives a signal strength of 15 instead of a signal strength of 1. And in that case, you would have to move this down and place a normal piston right here. And after you've done this, you can go ahead and place a sticky piston right there, and then place a green block down below. Then a redstone block down here would work. You can also just have a block here and put a lever next to it to power that, and then just run this up here. So, one sec, let me get around. You need to put redstone there. So when you power this, it's going to open. Right now, it's set to be a non-T flip-flop, so when the pressure plate turns back off, it will close behind it. So let's just take a look. I actually have to place some more blocks. I know these are not very aesthetical blocks, but whatever. They'll work, and then you can walk on, and then they'll close behind you. Something to note is that when you stand in the exact middle of the door when it closes, it's going to suffocate you, so keep that in mind. Please run through it quickly. With stone pressure plates, this isn't going to be a big deal, but when you use weighted ones, like this, and with weighted ones this works too, by the way. You can run through, and it closes behind you immediately, and when you walk through it sometimes works, sometimes it will take a hit. I can also show you what could happen. So if you do that, so if you were to stand right in the middle of the door, this will happen, and if this were a solid block, he would suffocate. So just keep in mind to have a big axe on you or something like that, so you can break this block and put it back, of course. So that's about that for the inside pressure plate. There are more ways to use the pressure plate, but I would prefer having the pressure plate on the inside and then a button on the outside, so you would have the button hooked up to this line as well, like this. Just run this up and begin. Now you don't have to have it on the floor, but you can just wrap it around the wall and make it powered, but just keep in mind that the redstone signal does reach. If it doesn't, I suggest you have an instant repeater in the middle, like this. So you have a piston with a block and a sticky piston with a redstone block. If you do this, then the button should power this block right here, and then on the end here, this will be the input that goes into the door. So that's if it doesn't make it to both the pistons on the side, you need this little contraption to make it instant. You can also use repeater, but that's slower, and I really prefer instant here. So I would use instant repeaters for that. Something to keep in mind with this method is if you have the pressure plates and you don't stand on them while the door is open, then it's going to be the wrong way around. You're going to have a little problem with that. So a way to fix that would be to power this with a 2-tick pulse, just like that. And if you want a really fancy system with your door, you can place your torches here to make a T flip-flop activated, and then have a line running from to both torches. So you just have redstone dust and a repeater here, and just run this across to the other side. And you have a block there again, and redstone here, repeater. Run this back over all the way to the other side. So if this line is powered, it's going to be T flip-flop if it's not powered, it's going to be T flip-flop activated, so when you step on a pressure plate, it'll open, but when you step off, it won't close behind you, and when it's on, it will be just lever activated, so that it will close behind you when you step off. So that's something to bear in mind. Another thing you might want to do is to have 2 pressure plates on either side, so you have another set right here. Now this is very simple if you have whited pressure plates, but if you have stone pressure plates, then you're gonna have to make some changes to this circuit here. So first of all, just rip this all apart like that, then run this here down right there, and then I think it goes down here again, and then it goes back up. Okay, so then you have a sticky piston right there with a block on its face. Now if it's closed, this block must be extended, so there's a gap between the piston and the block, and then just run this onwards, then run it up here and there, like that, so you get a little weird staircase, then place a block there so it goes to power. And now if you have the 2 blocks here, you could have 2 stone or wooden pressure plates on top, and then the sticky piston on this side, and the normal piston on this side, just like that. Alright, now something that might not work anymore now is this piston getting powered, so don't forget to place a redstone dust next to it, just like that. So now if you press the button I have down here, it should all still work, just like that, and you have a stone pressure plate input right here. So let's actually make that input work next. So as soon as you have the piston with the redstone block ready and the update piston next to it, same on the other side. However, if you have, once again, there are pressure plates at the top, it can just be like this. As soon as you have this done, you can go ahead and on this side place a redstone dust there. That should be green. Redstone dust there. A sticky piston below facing inwards, with a repeater on 4 ticks running out to the side, the block in front of it, a redstone wrapping around like so, and below this block you should go into the inputs. When you step on this pressure plate, it will switch, just like that. And you can see the frame rate is really bad when you open this door. That has to do with 1.8, I think. You can see it kind of goes down. Anyways, it works better on 1.7 frame rate wise, and you can see on the video, which I will link in the description, how it looks if you really are not recording it. It will be fine, so don't worry. Just opens and closes when you step on it. This only, by the way, I think I forgot to mention, but there are torches on either side now if you want it to be, you know, T flip-flop activated. It's really gonna break if you don't have torches on either side, because it's gonna get spammed when you step here and next you step here. It's going to just be powered and then off, back on within a tick or something. So that's why we have a monostable on either side now. So the way you do that on this side would be by having a repeater on 4 here, sticky piston in front with a redstone block, redstone running across like this, then another sticky piston here facing down with a block on its face, and then some more redstone dust over here, so that'll power the door as well. We step on this, it'll close, and again it'll open. So what you get is when you kind of extend these walkways a little bit, these can obviously be 4 wide, but this is just for testing purposes. You close it, and then when you normally run through, that's what it'll do. I think that's really nice, so that's another way of doing it. So it's all reverted back to how it was. I will leave another world download in the description, so you can check out all of these input methods I just showed you, you know, in person, in the world, and just check out from all angles if you don't understand or missed something I showed you in the video. So next up is the explanation section. So to start off with the explanation, I suggest you go watch Silence's video, which kind of gives a good introduction to this mechanic. Right here I set up a little contraption that will show you what you can do with these 0 tick pulses. So this is what this entire door is based around, except it's a little bit different, and a lot of these, of course. So when I flick this lever, what do you think is going to happen? You think, or you probably think, if you know a little bit about redstone, that pistons start retracting instantly. So this block should be removed instantly, just as this one, which will, you know, it just all happens at the same time as what you think, which is kind of true. But there is a delay, processor-wise is the way I like to call it, and each of these pistons is a microtick. So as soon as I turn off the lever, what's actually going to happen is this piston will retract, then 1 microtick later, so this is what's processed after this first one, this will retract, and then this one, and then all of these redstones will turn off, and then this piston is still powered. So this is what's going to happen. Bam. They both blocks get retracted at the same time. They kind of collide with each other while moving, which is really strange, but that's what this entire door is based around. So instead of having these pistons like this, I have a few microtick pulses that are just right after each other and power each piston at the exact right time. So first this is powered, and then this piston is powered with a pulse that's so short that you can't even see the redstone turn on. So that's how this works, and the monostable looks like this. I'll build this right here. I'm gonna have a sticky piston, a normal piston, and a sticky piston, and this first sticky piston will have a redstone block, and then we have a block. Now, all of these have to update in the right order. So if we start here, this redstone would be off before this piston would retract and let the power through. So what we're actually gonna do is we're gonna make this piston update first, and then all of these will be updated by this piston. So it's like a chain reaction, and all of these other pistons are going to be butt powered. So we're gonna have this, and this is kind of cool. You might say I really like this monostable because you don't have the delay on the rising edge, which you have right here. You can see it takes a few ticks before it all powers, and that kind of messed it up. But this is how this entire door came together. We have 2 of these rows, and the second one here will power 1.5 ticks later. So first we grab the middle 4 blocks, and then we grab the outer blocks. It's kind of hard to explain, so let's get into the setup. Before we move on, I quickly want to show you something that has to do with sticky pistons. As you probably know, sticky pistons will grab their block, they will pull it, as well as push it, instead of what the regular piston does, which is only pushing it, and when it retracts, it won't take the block with it, right? That's right in front of it. So this makes it so that the sticky piston will do something. It will actually, when it's no longer powered, it's going to tell the block that it's pushing to stop extending, but to be done extending. So it's actually, when you extend a very short pulse, like a zero-tick pulse, it's going to the block here, that's what the sticky piston is going to appear here instantly. Okay, so if I turn this off, first on and then off, you'll see, and like you see the difference. This block here was pushed here instantly, and this one took 1.5 tick, redstone tick, to make it here. So you can see this one extended first. Let's do that again and do a little slow-mo shot here. Don't think that was visible. Grab that back, and of course that didn't pull it. Let's do that again. Watch from here. I'll take the lever around. Okay, ready? Bam. You see, this block here moved much faster than this one, so this might help you understand the next section. Alright, so on to the setup. The first thing that happens is these corner blocks have to be pushed in by those pistons. Now we only want to power those pistons and no other ones for the closing. So what you have to do is make sure that only those pistons extend, and so you can block the other pistons with the obsidian on the end here. So that's why those 4 blocks of obsidian are required for this door to work. So if I put these back, I can show you. Give this a 1-tick pulse, it's only going to power that one. And the next thing that happens, which is the second pulse in the first set of 0-tick pulses, would be this. So this all happens instantly. And then the third pulse, wait, where does that go? I can't remember. Oh yeah, no. Oh yeah, the third pulse isn't used in the closing because it powers the wall block here. So it's this wall block actually. So it's only used to pull the middle blocks and not push them in. The middle blocks are now pushed in by the second set of pulses, like this. So now these will get pushed up and down as well. That's actually all had already happened at the first pulse. And then the opening is pretty much the same. Okay. So the closing already pushed those pistons in, and now what happens is, first off, the same thing happens, those get powered, but now that there's no blocks here, it's going to push those pistons over, which is actually exactly what we want to do. Now, because of what I told you a second ago, if this is a 0-tick pulse, you know that this piston here, it will be pushed instantly, so that piston there can now already push from the second 0-tick pulse. That's the wrong one. I should first power this one, and I failed. So it's going to do that, and then it's going to power both of these as well at the same time. And this is where these 3 pulses are the ones that make the blocks collide, like I explained over there. So yeah, if this one retracts instantly, and then this one retracts instantly. And then the second set of pulses will pull this down, just like that, and it will pull these aside, and this one, and this one, and it will also retract these pistons here. And at this point, it's going to power this one, and it's going to retract those pistons as well. So the first set of pulses which I'm talking about, that's being controlled by this set of pistons in a row, and the second set of pulses, which are only 2 pulses by the way, is controlled from here. So first it powers this redstone line, and then after a few microticks it powers this redstone line. And the same goes for this one. So first you power this redstone line here, and then this redstone line, and then this redstone line. So that's how it works. I put a lot of time and effort into this video, so any like is really appreciated. Thank you for watching. Also, I will post a picture of this, this aesthetical front for the outside of your base. In case you like it, you can take it over from the picture. It will be in the description, or just pause the video. That works too. And yeah, that's about it. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you guys next time.